the update on the 2 front garden beds. I believe it was beginning to mid-July that those were put in. So this is the update. They're doing super well. Both of these beds did sustain flooding. There was flash flooding that took place mid-August, and the rain water just sat. These petunias were drenched. They were sitting in water for hours and hours. The following days, the ground was sopping wet. A lot of the mulch kind of flooded away. To have sustained that and to then bounce back to this, I'm very proud of these plants. So these are the 5 that we put in. There's 1 mound, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have really beautiful canopies. I like the shape of them. I think cutting them back earlier like we did sort of helped them develop that nice round shape. I have gone in and sprayed BT just so that we can preventatively get ahead of those budworms. They just eat the buds, they eat your petunias, and eventually you walk out there and you're like, where's my flowers? Or you might think that the petunia is petering out, but it's not. It's just that there's like bug activity going on that needs to be treated if you want your petunia to continue to look as good as when you first purchased it. So that did us wonders here. I also did go in with insecticidal super soap to take care of any bug activities like aphids or whitefly, things like that. So anyway, beautiful mounds, Supertunia, Vista Jazzberry, proven winners. The Vista series is very vigorous. They do really well in the ground. The only times in which I watered this, guys, was when I was fertilizing. I think a number of factors helped us. If you watch that first video of when I first planted, all of those things really help so that you don't have to do work throughout the season. I think the mulch helped to retain the water. Last year when I didn't have mulch down, we had a very wet year, and the slugs from the ground to the petunia, it was like a beautiful match made in heaven. So this year, the cedar mulch, I think, helped to act as a barrier and also helped to deter them as well. The slugs I didn't have to use pellets for, and all in all, very happy. All the way down here, we have this Guacamole Hosta. This has never been thinned out and has never been divided. I do go in and cut off the burnt leaves. This does get more sun than I think the guacamole likes, so I do go in and sort of deal with that as needed. Over here we have a little toad abode. I did look and there's nothing underneath there now, but I did find a newt, an eastern red newt. He was in there after the flooding. I'm happy that someone took residence in there. We have a few Heucheras. There's 1, 2, 3. This is an older variety. If I can remember the name, I'll put it on the screen. The newer growth is that deep plummy purple, and there's like blotching of light pink. It's so beautiful. The older growth takes on a more like muted look, and it's not as deep, and it just looks aged. And oddly enough, that had damage from some sort of insect, whether it be a slug or a beetle, or maybe a grasshopper, I'm not sure. But I did take a lot of that off, and we can see this new lush dark purple growth that I just think looks beautiful in the fall. These here are a elephant in the room type thing. Originally I had a Lonicera gold flame, another pink and yellow flowering honeysuckle over here. The habit did not match this one. It grew very tall very quickly, and it didn't put on much width versus this. This is like the classic Lonicera honeysuckle. I'll throw the name on the screen. This one here is a different variety. It has more width to it, and it hasn't gotten up to the top. Hummingbirds love this. I think in the springtime, before I have an opportunity to come and plant my hummingbird annuals, I think that this is a wonderful invitation for them when they begin to come back up north here for their summer season. So I do love this. However, I am gonna cut this down at the end of this season and move her because I don't love the infrastructure of these 2 steel wall trellises. These are gonna come off, and I think what we're gonna do is put an evergreen here, but it has to be an evergreen that can handle part shade and that can take a little bit of dryness because this is under a little bit of an overhang. So part shade, can take some drought once established. I want it to be blue. I did pop in some Anise Hyssop in the back of this bed. We have 3 here. This particular variety, it's meant to be Royal Raspberry, also by Proven Winners. And I just like the dark green leaf, and the bloom really perfectly matches this. So that's kind of my vibe in both of these beds. I love it. It's also very attractive to bees and the hummingbirds. So I don't feel too badly about taking this away because they will have access to the hummingbird mint. But here it's just going to be an evergreen because there's nothing evergreen here. There's no winter interest. So that's what we're lacking, and we're going to bring that in. This is a Rudbeckia. I think it's called Cappuccino. It usually has gotten big, but by this point in time, I've cut that back, and so it always seems to reflush from the bottom. If I were to have captured these beds earlier, this would have been a taller plant. We have a Guacamole Hosta as well in this corner. I'm gonna take a chunk of the one from over here, pop it over here, and then we have our Sweet Autumn Clematis. It's trying to climb and then hang. It's trying to climb and then drape. It was first planted last year. My vision was that it was going to make its way up the heavy-duty string that we have, across, down, and that it would be balanced out on this end with the statuary. Maybe it's just that this is still young, but I don't think it's going to accomplish that, and I also don't think it's going to look right on the bottom here. Like, let's just make it symmetrical, right? So another Sweet Autumn Clematis will be going there. That way they will meet and greet in the middle. So right now it looks a little unbalanced, but she's doing well. She's blooming beautifully. When you start to see the flower fall and then it has an opportunity to develop that seed puff, that's typically when you're gonna see it reseed like crazy. So last year, cutting it down to the ground, as I saw these white flowers turn brown and start to drop their petals, that's the time that I went in and cut it back. And I didn't have an invasive problem, but again, this is early in its life, so we shall see how that goes. Okay. And I love the bees and the pollinators that this attracts. Both of these beds sort of mirror each other look-wise, but this one's my favorite. I'm not entirely sure why. It's just, it gets a little bit more sun here. It's bigger. We have our tree wizard and his little mushroom surrounded by Scotch moss. We did have a dry spell shortly after I planted the Supertunias. It was very dry and it was like really high temps. So the Scotch moss here browned out, and I thought, oh, I'll just take that browned out portion away. That one was especially bad. These two also had browned out portions, but I left them just as an experiment, and I should have left it here because they were just going dormant, and so I should have just left it be. But yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants of Scotch moss. Here we have a weeping blue Atlas cedar. I love the blue color. I like the dwarf nature of this and the evergreen winter interest, as well as the fact that it's a nice habitat for birds. I see a bird nest in here, and the birds like to use this for that. Behind us, we have a Guacamole Hosta. It's doing well. I think we get most of our rain coming in from the right, and so being in the corner here, it doesn't seem to mind, versus a Guacamole Hosta in the corner on the same border next to us, same position, but it's lacking the access to the rain on the right. In the back, I had some sedums. Those were totally flopped after the flood, and they also had mildew. I waited a little bit too long to stake those back up, and if I had done the staking after several days of them laying on the ground, it wouldn't have looked right when I staked them back up. So I just said, the heck with you. You're getting cut down to the ground, and you'll have your time to shine for next year. Over here, a blue angel hosta. And that in the beginning of spring looks amazing. The blue color is like so vibrant. That blue coating on the leaves is very lush. And then as we move into August time, it sort of burns up and it can't take the full sun over here with that August heat and sun. And by that time we've gotten a lot of rain, so that blue coating just sort of washes off. And that's the deal with that. We have a candlestick vine, a variegated Plectranthus in this basket. They could take some drought because I don't water them as much as I should be. Those look beautiful there. Making our way down the side. This is a Munstead wood David Austin rose. She's really beautiful. She smells amazing, you guys. This was the rose that I think I treated for sawfly after I saw you. A lot of the sawfly damage had happened, and then I think they flew the coop, and then new growth had come about. And then at that point, I was able to come through and take off the damaged bits. What you're seeing now is just it being reflushed. It seems like this whole video is talking about things being reflushed or resurrected. This rose is super filled with thorns. Could really hurt you, so you gotta be careful. She's feisty. When I'm pruning it, I prune. I continue to hold the stem with the Felcos and then put it in my barrel. So I'm not, you know, clipping, holding with my hand and putting in the barrel. It's just clip, take it to the bucket. Here is a wonderful redemption Colocasia elephant ear. It is stunning. I love the black elephant ears, especially with the contrast of the Jazzberry. It's so beautiful. Here's a good example of, even though this leaf is torn, what that elephant ear can really do as far as coloring. And this rose is 2 years old. It was touted as being 3 feet tall and wide. It maybe just hasn't reached that yet. I also am not good about putting down rose specific things, although I do amend this rose plant with lobster compost because that's a more alkaline type compost, and roses like sweeter soil. So this is another Jazzberry, and then we have a sort of a flow of more of that meant to be royal raspberry Anise Hyssop. This one sort of got trampled by the floods, so that'll make a better comeback next spring. This is a vanilla strawberry. Ew, a bug flew into my mouth. This is a vanilla strawberry hydrangea. This is year 2 with this plant. It starts off white and then it turns to this nice like pinky mauve. I love. So do you see that blue silver foliage on the Anise Hyssop against the hot neon purple and the black elephant ear with the mauve hydrangea? You guys, I love this. I really love this, and I have to visibly do something about maybe sort of hiding the meters on the solar stuff, but it is what it is for now. Over here, you're gonna see the Redemption Colocasia again. There's 2 plants back there. So these I'm really happy with. They are bold in the back, which is something that we need. Do you see that pink veining? That one did well. So that's the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry and our vanilla strawberry hydrangea. The nice edge that we did has sort of been swallowed up by this hydrangea, but definitely something that can be addressed again. This is an up close on the Supertunia border. So these have truly filled out, and that's the view from here. I appreciate you guys waiting for this update and tour, and if you didn't see that first video, please do if you somehow managed to find this a different way. I am just proud of myself, proud of my garden. It was a good season. I'm just kind of showing you what works for me, my trials and tribulations, how things went, how things didn't go well, but I am successful this year because I've done this a time or two, and we're always learning because you utilize the things on hand that are available to you to get that performance. You know what I mean? So I'll see you guys in my next video.